You're on. Can you hear it?
John McEnroe was a
Yeah, now that's how we start. That's John McEnroe at Wimbledon. You cannot be serious. That ball was on the line. And I tell you what, I've been watching Wimbledon. Now, how do I say this? John McEnroe is a great commentator because his sparsity of words. I've been watching. Is it Jelena Dokic?
Yes.
How she just keeps talking. Unwatchable.
Unwatchable.
Oh, it's not unwatchable. She's good. She's not good. She just talk too much. The bleeding obvious. You can see what's happening. You just keep talking and talking. It's annoying.
Well, I haven't really listened to her in the commentary. I have a couple of times.
All of them
I'll tell you
do.
what, Sam. Did you watch her? Have you watched her story? I don't know whether to call it a documentary, but it's a story on her life with her dad, who recently passed away, I think.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know whether you've seen that. What an incredible young woman she is.
Yes, she is.
Unbelievable. But that's not to say you don't like the way you think she talks a bit too much.
Don't. I'm not. It sounds like I'm not. If someone could just tell all those people to stop. Like the football, could you just not talk all the time?
Yeah. No, I agree. The greatest, in my opinion, one of the greatest of all time. Well, the greatest VFL, AFL player that everyone says is great, Lee Matthews. When I hear him speak, he's succinct, he's to the point, and he doesn't ramble on, and that's why I think he's still the best in the comp. Yeah, no, you look like Patrick Swayze off Ghost.
Oh, well, now she shut the door.
Oh no, now you look like
I can't see myself at all.
No, you're right. You're perfect now.
So anyhow, that's Wimbledon, and just
no, you were just saying on Wimbledon. So yeah. So by the way, Jelena. So you like McEnroe because he's succinct with his comments and
just sensible stuff, like doesn't go on and on and on.
I like Jim Courier. Do you like Jim Courier?
Well, he talks too much.
Yeah, but you know what I like. This is what if you're going to commentate on any sport, what you've got to remember. So the likes of Jim and Jelena, who are champions in their field, and that's why they're doing the job. You've got to remember that you're not talking to people that are like-minded. It's like if you and I talk about football in a certain manner. The average person that doesn't play at the highest level mightn't know what you're talking about. So you have to. It's a bit like when we're on the podcast and you use words that I've never heard of before. You've got to dumb it down.
Well, okay. So if someone hits the ball wide and they scramble it back, and the opponent runs in and does a drop shot, is it necessary to say, yes, Carey hit the ball wide and it was a beautiful scramble by Newman, but Carey got to the net and did a little chip shot back over the net, and you say, oh, really? I thought that's what I just watched.
Yeah, correct. So I guess that's the art of commentary. You've got to you've got to give them something that they're not just watching on the screen.
Yes.
Correct. And so what do you think of Wimbledon? Like, how have you seen? You obviously saw the great Djokovic play an Aussie. Who were you barracking for?
Here's an interesting. I hate to say this because I was watching Dimoneur, the great Australian Aussie,
the Demon.
Hey,
the Demon.
The Demon. That's right. The Demon playing the anti-vaxxer.
Yes.
And why is it I wanted Djokovic to win? Tell me that.
Well,
it sounds anti-Australian,
No, being the psychologist amongst us, and I had a session with Tess yesterday.
Oh, you've re-established the communication with your life coach.
Yes, we. Wow. We had a good session yesterday. I come out. Jess loves it when I come. So Tess, when I have the thing with Tess, Jess loves it because I come out. She gets about 3 apologies every time I speak to her. But my view is this: the reason why you go for Djokovic over the Aussie, because one, we're watching one of the greats. We've already had Nadal and Federer retire. So he's the last of the big three that is left. And there's a part of us that wants him to go on, whether you like him or not. He's one of the greats. He's already got the most Grand Slams, etc., etc. And the Demon is, I think subconsciously, you probably think if he goes any further in the comp, he's probably going to lose. So you're barracking for someone that you think will go on and maybe still win the tournament, and it'd be a big story. Would that be fair?
I think that's a very fair comment. He'll probably play Alcatraz or Sinner.
Alcaraz.
Well,
He's not a jail. He's not a
no,
jail. He's
get
not
out
a
of
jail.
jail. So they'll probably play off, and it'll be a good final, and it won't be a fizzer. No, that sounds really disparaging to Mr. Dimonor, and he's a lovely boy and a good on him. I don't know why I want Djokovic.
Top 10 in the world. But
Yeah.
he will admit himself he's where he is. Can he go higher? That's his challenge, Demonor. So, and to be honest, he's got to be beating guys like Djokovic now. I mean, he's at the end of his career. He's at the start of his career. If he can't beat Djokovic now, how's he going to beat the likes of Alcaraz and these guys and Sinner, Alcaraz, those guys? There's a big gap between those guys and Demonor, unfortunately, but he's done very well.
He
so
has.
I agree. And
speaking of great Aussies, now here's a
just before you go there, I just want to say how much I love when you stuff a pronunciation of a name up or a word. I love it.
Well,
because you've pulled me up about 100 times in the last 4 weeks.
Alcaraz.
Yes, you've pulled me up about 1,000 times in the last 4 weeks.
I like you pulling me up, Duck, because it shows you I'm not perfect.
Yes.
Just before I get, don't worry, I haven't finished with Tess. Just wait till I get. So I tell you now, here is an Aussie that was roundly condemned and roundly routed out of winning the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. That's Oscar Piastri. What a young star that boy is, and how level-headed, no theatrics, sensible boy, speaks beautifully. He's modest, and he was done out of winning the Silverstone Grand Prix because they alleged that he in the restart behind the pace car, when the pace car pulled off, he bunched up the field too slowly, and that threw out their when they should go for the line. Complete and utter fabrication, a distortion of the rules, and he lost. He was given a 10-second penalty and ended up losing the race on time to his great rival in the same car, McLaren, to Lando Norris. Incidentally, I watched the Bruce McLaren story, the New Zealander who started that race team, who died at 33 years of age, and his legacy continues. They're the two most popular Formula One cars in the world at the minute. What a story Bruce McLaren was.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, tell me, because you obviously follow it way more closely than I do. Is he still possibly going to win the championship, or is he now in danger?
Yeah, no, he's possibly going to win the championship. He's got the best car. He's the best driver. He's got some guts and got some.
How many to go before the championship?
No, it's only halfway through.
Oh, right. So there's plenty of time.
Plenty to go. Anything can happen, as they say, Duck. Now, just finally, before I'm got getting onto some politics about the ridiculous state that we live in and the people running it. I'm getting onto that in a minute. Don't worry about that. Did we have some nice feedback about the new Welcome to Country?
Did we? Did you have some?
My word, we did. If I can just find it, I'll just read it out again. And if you have a look at what the state government are doing at the minute, this was it. This was what I said we should do. We pay our respects to those pioneers who built this country, and we also acknowledge Aboriginal elders, their dreams and cultures past and present. We thought that would be a great combining and healing factor. And if you have a look at what the state government are doing, they're wasting their time on Aboriginal reparations and in investigation into genocide that's happened 100 years ago. And it is ridiculous that we should be um, uh, we should inherit the outrage of our ancestors and predecessors who went through all this, the fighting of tribalism. What has it got to do with the current people living in this country about genocide and reparations? It's got nothing to do with us at all. And the state government are just wasting. They're trying to divert from the ineptitude of this state that they're running. They've run it into the ground, and they're trying to divert.
I would like some for you to read out some of the comments about the your new welcome to country, which by the way I loved. I liked it. I thought it was inclusive. Um, I assume you haven't copped any. You didn't make the news over it, which is good.
Of course, you wouldn't make the news over it, because that would be that would be
It'd be a positive.
that would be people agreeing with you when they don't want to agree with you, because uh, they don't want to risk being vilified by the activists. But why we should suffer the outrage of what our descendants did has got nothing to do with us. There was just as much slaughter from the Aboriginal people on the pioneers who came to this country as there was vice versa. And it's 100 years, it's 150 years ago, and we're paying reparations. What do the Aboriginal folk want to do with the reparations? They get
I
they've
that's
done nothing.
not
It's
my cup of tea, Sam. Know nothing about it. I will say this: I certainly wouldn't be spending taxpayer money on that type of stuff.
that's what that's
So
what
I
the
agree.
state.
So I agree. I agree with you there. Like certainly we shouldn't be paying taxpayer money um, on things that happened that long ago. But what I want to hear from you is how do we go? Give us some of the comments. Read. I want to. How was it when you say? Because don't be like the rest of the media. We don't. I don't call this media, but don't be like the rest. And if there was 5 comments saying it was good, don't there was. Did you get? Was it a resounding?
We get a lot of comments on what we do on this podcast, you and I. You cannot be serious. And there are too many to read out. I should read out. I usually like to read out the ones that don't agree with us, but I haven't got that at my fingertips at the minute.
Gotcha.
What?
Now, have you got any positive? So what you're saying is you've got a lot of positive
What?
feedback about that. You got a lot of positive feedback.
A lot of positive feedback, because they thought it was a nice unifying statement
Yes.
which reflects exactly the country we live in, and it doesn't divide it. And the state government, the Allen government, continuing on from the Andrews government, are just trying to divide the city, divide the state in reparations and genocide inquiries, and it is just puerile nonsense. It is.
And when are you?
Most of
So
it's
when are you going to
exaggerated.
design?
Most of it's unreal. Most of it is unreal. It just gets but the activists keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and it has no reflection on us living in this country. It had nothing to do with us all
No,
those years
we
ago.
know. We know. You've made that point. When are you going to design your flag? You've got plenty of time up your sleeve. You design. I want you to design a flag that unifies.
Right. Oh well, I could.
Right. So while you're just sitting around, the other thing I wanted to ask you, because people ask me, isn't it funny? And this is accurate. This is the truth. I did TV. Now, very different for you because you're on primetime TV for 25 years and the biggest footy show, biggest show in the history of Australian TV in terms of numbers for a long period of time. So you would have got it. I'm just a mere bit player in the media that did bits and pieces here and there and it was in and out and blah, blah, blah. But what I'm saying, I get more people come up to me now since we're doing this podcast and talk to me about what we're doing than I ever did when I was doing TV and radio. It's quite amazing. Now, a lot of them are, and Sam, and I mean, like literally sitting at swimming the other night, people come up, oh, listen to the podcast. People pull over, oh, Duck, listen to the podcast. I tell Sam, I agree with this. Oh, it literally is it is going far and wide. So I want you to design a flag while you're away. And
Well,
the other thing that people ask me to ask you is, how's your foot?
my foot's absolutely now. I hope the doctor's not listening. No, that it's not the doctor's fault. That my foot is. I can't actually walk on it at the minute. Probably because I've done a little much on it. The doctor, I can't mention his name. You're not allowed to mention doctors' names. David Shepherd. He is an absolute star, and he has fixed it beautifully. But
Are you following a doctor's instructions, Sam? I mean, you're on this big road trip.
yeah,
Are you wearing your boot all the time? Are you not walking around on it? Oh, you've got it on now. Okay, okay. And is that just do me a favour, because you and I both had a shoulder replacement at a similar time. Correct. Now I can't lift mine that high, but mine was a bit more. But you had to go back in and have that re-operated on
I
because
did.
you didn't listen to the doctor's instructions. You're a stubborn old man that looks young. You have to stop. Yes. Stop going against what they tell you to do. Don't overdo it.
The doctor is fantastic. I tell you what, it's a bit hard to drive the truck with your foot in a boot.
Are you allowed? Yeah, probably should be. Are you allowed to drive the truck with your foot? I guess it's not your right foot.
It is my right foot.
Oh,
It is my right foot. But
are you allowed? Are you
but it's
allowed?
got cruise control, Duck.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay. Anyway, your foot's still on, so I assume you're allowed to
My
drive with
foot
it.
is still on. But
Yeah.
could I just finish on? You know, you reckon we have a lot of people agree with the welcome to country. The amount of people who agree with our politics, I suppose they wouldn't listen to us because I wouldn't listen to left wing politics spewing on about reparations and but the amount of people. So in this state that we live in, would you think that it would be a good idea if the government concentrated on law and order, the courts, antisocial behaviour, police? The police stood down at the riot the other day when they protesters infiltrated an Israeli restaurant. They didn't want to antagonise the protesters, so they stayed in a bus around in a side street. Immigration, solar, gas you can't use, child abuse in what's going on with that bloke Joshua Brown. Would you think there'd be other things to concentrate on rather than the genocide inquiry of 100 years ago and reparations to Aboriginal people who have never had it so good, like all of us, since this country was pioneers developed it.
I
And they're all one people.
We are, Sam. Just you would have, given that you're at the back of Burke, did you get the result of the mushroom lady? Did you get?
I've got that on my list.
Yeah.
You might notice I said last week that she will be found guilty, and you said, "Oh no, I don't think so."
Well,
She
they
get
took 7 and 8 days, was it, to deliberate?
yeah.
It was a long deliberation, which normally you sort of go, well, so there was obviously a lot of discussion in and around whether she was guilty or not. Now
As
that
there
she's
should
been,
be.
yes, correct. Now that she's been found guilty, and some of the stuff, and this is what I say to you, and this is what's come out since she has been found guilty, is that the media have now let out stuff that we didn't hear, right? Which the jury did hear. So that's why they can come to that conclusion. So that's why when we sit back and we, make assumptions or opinions and of people who are guilty or not guilty, we don't get all the information, but we the public just get drip fed whatever we want. But when you hear about what struck me about that case was the text message that she sent to the family, and she said, this could be because she said she had some illness, cancer or
Cancer.
something. Yeah, and she said, this could be the last dinner that I ever cook you because, I'm very sick and coming around, I'm making this certain dish. Just when you read that, it had that element of, the Last Supper.
So, would you like to have a nearest the pin on what you think she'll get?
Life, no parole, Sam.
Do you? I reckon 12 years with a minimum of 7.
Life, no parole. You can't, if she's been found guilty of 3 people dying, there's 18 years for each one of them, and she's not going to live to 120.
Oh, no.
So,
She got
yeah.
cancer. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, but
maybe they'll
anyway,
give her the chair.
that's what I would think. We don't have the chair here, Sam.
They should bring the chair back.
Did we ever have? No, we would have back in the day. Oh, we did at the Melbourne jail.
Ronald Ryan was hanged.
No, I was going to say hanged. What was
Not
Ned
hung.
Kelly? Hung. Sorry. What
No,
was
he never hung. Humans are never hung. They're hanged.
Hanged. Sorry.
Yeah, you can be well hanged, Duck,
What
but
was?
that's got nothing to do
well,
with your life.
Yeah, gotcha. What was Ned Kelly was hung?
Hanged.
Was he?
Was he? I'm not sure about Ned Kelly. He became a folk hero going around.
Yeah, but was he? I don't know. I'm just trying to remember the history. I should know that.
Chopper Reed gave me a painting of Ned Kelly boxing.
Yes, I've seen it. The one where he forgot to put he forgot to put eyes on one of the.
Yeah, it's a bit Picasso-ish.
Yes,
he was hanged. Sue,
he was hung.
The
Yeah, there you go.
yeah.
See how your memory you remember stuff. Sometimes
execution by hanging. He was hanged
at the Melbourne jail.
Yeah,
the one just on near Swanson Street. There is that where it happened?
No, it wasn't built then. What back?
Yes, the Melbourne jail back then. That was
in Swanson Street. That's only been built recently.
No, not that. Not the Remand Centre, you nitwit. The Melbourne.
You mean Pentridge?
No, not Pentridge. That's in Brunswick. I'm talking about. There's the Melbourne jail, which is in.
Ned Kelly was hanged in the Remand Centre, was he?
No, listen. The Remand Centre is the Remand Centre. That's on Spencer Street, you nitwit. I'm talking the old Melbourne jail. The old Melbourne jail. Get Sue to look it up while you're talking.
She's doing it feverishly.
The old Melbourne jail is where I assume a lot of people were.
Oh, here we go. Look, was built in the mid 1800s.
Thank you, you nitwit.
Right, it's closed in 1929. And does it say Ned Kelly was hanged there? But you're saying he was?
No, I didn't say he was. I said I wonder is that where he was? Because I assume he's a
Glen Rowan.
Yes, that was his last stand. Was Glen Rowan?
Yeah, that's about my last stand was about that long ago too.
so where let's talk while Sue's looking up the actual place where he was hung. Where is on your hanged? Where is on your road trip? Tell me. When you go to these little towns, and like you see, you're at the back of Burke now. When you go to these little towns, what are you noticing about outback Australia? Like what the cities. You talk about Melbourne, and you talk about the politics of Melbourne, and the crime, and your machetes and everything else that's going on, and how poorly the state is run. How's outback Australia doing? How's outback Victoria? Tell us a little bit about your journey. I want to know what's going on when you come into one of these towns and they see the big flash truck and the big flash van. How are you received? Are the kids coming up? Are they well mannered? Are you treated well? Give us a little bit of a feedback on that.
I must say now, I don't. You know me. I don't speak like this, and I know you do with your tongue in cheek. But I'm staggered at the number of people who recognise us. Honestly, it's extraordinary in every town, and it's probably because of the footy show. That's probably what it is. I don't know what else it'd be.
Well, they were. Yeah, it would be obviously the footy show, and
we stopped at Broken Hill, wasn't it? Broken Hill, where we stopped at Mildura and we went into the big shopping mall there, and I sat down because my leg was sore. I had a queue of people. They came out of the woodwork. They came out from Kmart, out from Woolworths. I was signing autograph. I thought I was going to ring the management up at the shopping centre. So could you put me on wages?
Mildura is a big footy town. Great,
very nice town.
Lee Colbert, if you went to the McDonald's there, Lee Colbert owns the 2 McDonald's there. ex-Geelong captain and North Melbourne player, Lee Colbert. He's got the 2 McDonald's in that town. Now, did you end up in Broken Hill, did you say?
Yes.
Well, Broken Hill, just let me tell you, Broken Hill is Tex Walker territory.
Oh.
Yeah, so Tex's dad, his name's Wayne Walker. Sounds like a Texas Ranger.
He
Wayne
does.
Wayne Walker,
Yeah, Texas
right?
Walker. Who was that boy that did that? Who was the
It
great
was
yeah.
tip of my tongue, the
Chuck
redheaded
Norris. Sue, if
Chuck
Sue
Norris.
wasn't here, I don't know how I'd be able to remember my name. Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris, yeah.
He
So
just
Wayne,
said Ned Kelly was hanged in the old Melbourne jail in 1890.
he was,
1880.
he was.
1880.
So I was right.
Yes, you were, Doug.
Thank you. So Broken Hill, Wayne Walker, he's a legend in Broken Hill. So Tex is obviously still playing. He's a superstar for the Adelaide Crows, ex-captain, All Australian for the first time a couple of years ago. Absolute beauty. But Wayne, excuse me, Wayne has won. I think he's won something like your league medal, so your equivalent of the Brownlow. I think he's won 4 or 5 of those in the Broken Hill League. So he's a very, very good footballer, a legend of that football club.
Well, wherever we stop, the folk are fantastic. Simple folk. I don't mean simple-minded, just simple, basic folk. I don't think a lot of them are probably not going to assemble any rockets in their backyard with a view to putting them on the moon, but they're really basic, lovely people. Haven't met anyone that's shouted at us too much. I suppose if you're going to shout at you, you wouldn't bother coming up in the first place. But
Jess, what have you do? You should do a little bit of a mini street talk in the towns that you go to.
yes, what stops me doing that is actually walking. I can't walk.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, what about street roll?
I could just speak to them outside the window of the truck as I drive
Yeah,
past.
yeah.
No,
Actually,
they're very good people, and
good.
they're very good people. Duck, I was so you get me off on so Tess
Yes, Tess.
re-established, and she gets you now every now and again to apologise to the person you're with at the
No,
time.
she doesn't get me to apologise. What happens is you talk
your conscience.
Yeah, you talk about lots of different things, and you go back and you talk about where you are now, but there's then things come up of the past, and then sometimes the penny just drops. And it's funny. I woke up at 5:30 a.m. this morning, and you constantly think about the conversation that you have yesterday, and it's amazing. It doesn't matter. So this is a lesson. This is another Duck's tips. And this is why people, if you let's say you're having some issues, whether it be you're drinking too much or you're doing whatever, you will only change life skills when you want to change them. It doesn't matter who tells you, and if you're stubborn like you are, then you'll probably there will be things, Sam, unfortunately for you, but you don't speak to a life coach, but you're never going to change your views on certain things. What I'm saying is that when you speak
what have you changed your views on the
when
life
a lot of things, but when you speak to Tess, sometimes she'll be trying to explain something, and then the penny just drops, and she's probably been giving me that message for the last 6 months or 12 months, but it's not until the penny drops for yourself. Doesn't matter how much people tell you about something, whether it be, hey, mate, you're drinking too much, or you're doing that too much, or you're doing that too much, or you exercise. You know what? It's not until you choose to change yourself that you will actually change. So I had a penny drop moment yesterday.
What was it, Duck? Let us in on
with
it.
certain things.
The duck's nuts.
It's just no. You know what? It's just the way. It's even the way you communicate, the way you speak. It's about parenting, about just a lot of different little things. And
I think your parenting leaves a lot to be desired, Duck. They're pretty unruly kids. They're not too disciplined.
About thinking about things in a different way to what you normally would. And yeah, you know what? It's refreshing. It's good.
Give us the gem that she left
but
you
in,
with
but in terms of parenting, I concur with that. Unfortunately for me, and the penny hasn't dropped yet. for me, I am the softest parent you could come across, and that's because I've done the complete opposite to my childhood. So I'm now soft. Now, neither the hardness isn't right, but the softness that I deliver is not right either. It's somewhere in between. It's a bit like when someone tells you a story. There's two sides. There's three sides to every story, and the third one's generally the right one. Well, in this case, I've gone too far the other way. So
Yep. Duck,
why?
if I could come to your defence, Duck, please. Uh, there's no rule about how you parent. Your kids will adapt to how you parent them and how you have a relationship with them. Whether it be good or bad, they will adapt. You are their father. They can't do anything else about that. They can't do anything else about their mother. So they will adapt, and people can write the manual. And Jess, what did Tess? Is it Tess?
Well, yeah.
What did
Well,
Tess
it's
tell
like
you
you
to
look at,
apologise for today?
there's kids out there that have had perfect upbringings, and they go off the beaten track, and
Yeah,
then there's kids that have had tougher upbringing. They end up being respect. The one thing I will say, Sam, and this is the one thing I will thank my father for, as hard as he was, manners cost you nothing, and to be well mannered and respectful,
has nothing to do
especially
with affluence or breeding. Oh,
is
it has
yep,
to do with
absolutely.
breeding. Yeah.
And thank yous and pleases and appreciation and all of those things cost you nothing. And I think if you have those in an abundance, then you come across. Doesn't matter what else you do, you will be well received if you have those things.
Now, I tell you who we've been missing because we don't want to encroach on his tremendous presence he has throughout the nation. This is Dr. Fordham. Doc used to come on every now and again, but
Actually, I was going to ring Ben. Actually,
the doctor, were you?
I was just going to ring him about something. About it was in Sydney.
Good.
I'm going to be up there. So
We'll tell him we miss him, but the Doc is obsessed with the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese about just how he's going in this country. As with the state government, we're being run federally and state-wise by domesticated gibbons. Um,
Well,
yeah,
Given
domesticated.
that's a monkey, isn't it?
Gibbon is a monkey.
Yes, I thought so.
That's who we're being run by. Uh,
That's the monkey with the big red butt.
Yeah, it is, as opposed to a howler monkey. Have you seen the howler monkeys? They go, oh, 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 oh. That's what howler monkeys do. Uh, so, Albanese, the doc is right onto Albanese, and he's fighting China. And the reason he's not fighting Donald Trump is because Albanese is too piss weak to sack Kevin Rudd, who said some disgraceful things about Trump, and Trump having a absolute blinder of a month. He has put that country on the map, and the more they ramp up against him, the better you know he's going. And he is an absolute star. If we could get someone in our state or in our country like Donald Trump who says it as it is and follows through, we wouldn't be in the mess. We wouldn't be worrying about reparations and genocide.
I've got an idea. What about given that we've worked this out? Sue's worked out how to do this little setup that we've got here. When you're in a town that has good connection, because and by the way, this has been pretty good, but a good connection. So I'm not talking when you're outback. Why don't we do little updates? I'd love to have a chat to you for 10 or 15 minutes here and talk about each town you're in. We should do that. I'd love to, so where are you? Give us a little bit of I want to know where you're headed. I don't know whether you're doing this. You're probably doing this already, are you? But where are you heading next? Where are you going from here?
We've been on YouTube doing daily. We're going to Kununurra.
Yep.
Cunnamulla, and then we're
Yep. For
going
how
up.
long? And how long are you going to stay? How long do you stay in these towns for, Sam? Does it just depend on how good the town is?
Well, we're just moving north to get into some warmer weather, and then we'll look for ideal habitats to stay at. And
Beautiful.
yes, that's what we're doing, and we're going to We've been posting on YouTube. You
YouTube.
cannot be
Yep.
serious. Smart
So
as
that's how
Sam.
people follow your trip. YouTube, you cannot be serious.
No, YouTube, smart as Sam.
Smart as Sam. Sorry, YouTube, smart as Sam. You
And
cannot
we've
be
been
serious.
posting every day, and we have a lot of comments. Like I know you say I should write them down, but I can't write them all down. And we appreciate people giving us advice about if you run over an animal, who you should ring. Would you, if you ran over an animal on your way down to Geelong, would you ring the flying doctor service to come and rescue it?
I'd get out and give it mouth to mouth.
Yeah,
No,
you
I
get
love
rabies.
animals.
You get rabies from it.
Well, tell me, because you said there's been a lot of roadkill, which is, yeah, we know that. There is plagues of certain animals, like obviously there's rabbits with myxomatosis, there's kangaroos and all that sort of stuff.
Goats.
And wild goats. But
Wild goats, there's thousands of them.
have you given, I dare say that the speed that you drive and the bigger the car that you're in and the caravan, I reckon the animal would bounce off and keep running. There you go.
No, we've missed a couple of. They've been on the road, and you can't swerve too much because if there's someone trying to pass you and you swerve out into their lane, then they're passing you, or B, you get too much of a swerve and tip the caravan over.
That's a good tip that you can give anyone that's driving. You never swerve to miss an animal because you will actually hit another car and whatever. Never swerve. Unfortunately, you've got to go straight through.
That's right. I had that philosophy with humans on pedestrian crossings.
No,
I'm joking.
I know you are.
Geez, if I ran over someone on a pedestrian crossing and they just referred back to this, they'd say he was serious. So Ben Fordham, so the Prime Minister is he's got a sack. Bring him home, Kevin Rudd, because he is being deleterious to our affairs with tariffs. He won't speak to Rudd, and why would he? Because Rudd thought he was an arsehole.
Well, if you're running a country and you have your conduit between the two countries not able to speak to the most powerful man in the world, I would think that's an issue.
Now, I spoke to Jeff.
Say yes, Wayne. Thank you.
Wayne, it was a given. What you said made complete sense. It's a bit like the tennis commentary. You don't have to. You said it. I don't have to back over it.
Thank you, mate.
Perfect sense. Now, I had Jeff Kennett on. He came on the You Cannot Be Serious, and I said, you know what's going to happen, Jeff, in the next state election? Labor is going to be reinstated. He said, no, they won't be. He said, the Liberals will get in. I said, well, who will get us in? How are the Liberals going if they can't, if they can't pony up some opposition to the Allen government? We've got Sam Groth, who wouldn't come on because he reckons I gave a platform to some Nazis. And we've got Batten, is it, or Bratton? What's he? He's the head leader of the opposition. Steve Batten.
No. Oh, no. I was going the premier. I thought he was still involved. The last premier from years ago.
What? The last premier?
No, premier from years ago was Steve Brax. What?
Brad. Sue's got this again. Brad Batten is the current leader of the Liberals in Victoria, and his deputy is Sam Groth, ex-tennis player.
Yes, I know that. I played footy with Sam Groth.
Yeah. Well, ask him if he'd like to come on. I could interview him. He said,
"Oh, you know what? I'll ring him. Mate. This is like the. I'll ring the same mate that was going to get John McEnroe on. I'll ring him and ask him whether Sam, can forgive you for, not doing anything wrong, because you didn't do anything wrong in that interview. You were just simply picking the brain of people that people want to know why they think that way.
Exactly.
And we'll see whether we can, whether I can pull a rabbit out of a hat.
Anyhow, I said to Jeff Kennett,
all right.
They're not going to. The Liberals won't get back in again, and that's democracy at work. They will not get in. again
Well,
because
well,
they've got no presence, they've got no charisma, they've
maybe
got nothing.
why don't you start on your road trip? Put a flag up or something, or a sign off the back of the caravan saying, that you're happy to talk politics, and go on a campaign of your own, and maybe maybe run. Like do a political. Do this. Turn this into a political trip.
Yeah, put yeah, if you want a Trump supporter coming through now,
Yeah.
see how well that goes over. People
Yes.
think
Yes.
this is a "Make America Great Again"
I
again. This
know
is
they do.
Trump
They do.
too.
Well,
Uh,
I've got to go. I've got to go.
right. All right.
Look
Well,
forward.
good on you, Duck.
All right. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
now
That's
you're
what this.
going down. Just quickly, I just wanted to tell you that you're going down to buy the kids some breakfast. You mentioned McDonald's. Do you know how many hamburgers McDonald's sell a month worldwide? Well, you wouldn't
Uh,
know.
I'll have a guess. I'll have a guess.
Yep.
So you've got 2, 4, 6. No, I'll say 50 million.
Yeah, no, that's a reasonable guess. 200 million
200
hamburgers they
million.
sell a
Wow.
month worldwide. And someone said there are physically not that much, there is not enough cattle in the world to supply 200 million hamburgers a month. So what are we eating?
No, well, because some of those hamburgers might be a fillet of fish.
The Big Macs, you idiot.
Oh, you're saying Big Mac.
I'm talking about hamburgers.
Oh, right. Oh, I thought you
Well,
were talking about.
hamburgers and
Oh,
hamburger doesn't the
I thought you were
very
talking
name
about burgers.
hamburger
I thought
doesn't
you
the
were talking.
very name hamburger mean
Yeah, sorry.
hamburger,
I know. Sorry. I
not a
thought you meant
fish,
burgers.
not a
I thought
fish
you meant
burger?
burgers. Burgers.
Well, Duck, it's been fantastic. I'm going to find out comments about Welcome to Country, those
Thank
people,
you.
what they say, and also the state of why we are wasting everyone's time and money because they're trying to divert from their incompetence and their ineptness. That's why they're doing it.
Sam, get your foot right. All love, safe travels.
Right, all the best, Duck. Signing off now. Just pretend we've played the music of Daddy Cool.